Alright guys, as promised, I'm going to make a video once I've got the subframe for the front of the Charger out. Motor, subframe, transmission, all that good stuff. So, here it is. Got it all torn out. I'll kind of just show you a little bit of the carnage here. Got my tool here. But this is the engine. You can see towards the back of it, it got pretty bad. It was on the passenger side that caught the brunt end of it with all that wiring and stuff like that. So but this is really simple to do, guys. There is 1, 2, and then 3, 4 identical on the other side. 4 bolts that hold the subframe in, 3 nuts to hold the upper shock in place. There are 1 and 2 bolts right here that go right here and right here that holds the upper control arm in place. Then you have, I don't even know where it is anymore. Must have fell off. Well, you have the steering shaft. Did that thing pull off? No. Steering shaft is right here. Okay, here we go. Then you have the steering shaft, right? Which is, this one kind of came out on its own, but this is a 10 mil bolt right here. And it has a 13 down here at the bottom if you want to take it out at the rack itself. That's there. You got 2 bolts here for the transmission shifter cable. Pull that out, right? And then obviously if your car is not a flame, you have the whole wiring harness you got to pull. The upper radiator hose, the lower radiator hose has got to come off. Tranny lines and stuff like that if you're doing tranny and engine together. Okay. Then you got your transmission, which has got 2 bolts on that side, 2 bolts on that side. Those are both 13 millimeters. Take those off. Bam. Once you get all of that done and you make sure that everything's out of the way, if you have exhaust, you have to disconnect it from the manifolds or disconnect the exhaust, whatever. Literally, it'll drop right down on the bottom, okay? I made it a little easier on myself. I took the lower radiator support and the front crash bar that goes like right here to right here. I took those out just to make my life a little bit easier, okay? It kind of helps to jack up the car a little bit higher if you don't have a lift. If you do have a lift, you can just lift it. It's not a big deal, but this is where I'm at. As you can see, there's the intake manifold's junk, valve covers, injectors, coil packs, wiring is all trash. It's got to be all cleaned up really well and stuff. But I'm going to pull this transmission off of this engine, and then I'm going to clean the engine up a little bit to get it off of the subframe. And then I'm going to use this subframe for the red Magnum. The only difference is I am most likely going to end up having to change like all this suspension stuff. All this crap just kind of, I'll show you here, get it over here on this side. All this stuff kind of got the brunt end of stuff. This is the easiest one to show you right here. I mean, literally the bushing burned out of it on both sides. So, yeah, it kind of got beat, okay? But I'm going to end up swapping it over because on my blue car, I literally have all brand new suspension, brand new control arms and everything. So this is literally just to get it into the red Magnum for the time being. And then when I swap the engine and stuff over from my blue car, that's when I'm going to go ahead and swap the suspension parts. These are all very easy. I took my sweet time doing this. Don't forget also you have brake lines and ABS speed sensors that you have to take off of the car in order to drop the whole entire setup with the brakes. I mean, if you're going to leave the brake calipers on there, don't worry about it. Just unplug the ABS wheel speed sensor at the plug or pull it out of the wheel hub assembly. This is really simple, guys. It doesn't take, honestly, if you do it right and you have all the wiring and you have the hoses and stuff like that, I mean, you're looking at maybe like 2 hours of disconnecting and removing all of that, and then like another 45 minutes of just dropping the whole entire cradle with the engine and transmission. It doesn't take too long, guys. Okay, so, and I'm doing this stuff in my backyard on the gravel, okay, on dirt. And I was able to do it in a little over an hour, okay? Granted, like I said, my wiring and all that shit is burnt, but, you know, what are you going to do? So, anyway, I'm kind of at the end of it right now of everything that I'm going to take off of this Charger before hopefully the guy comes and picks up the shell. I do have to pull the front subframe off of the all-wheel drive Magnum so that way I can get it ready for this subframe to go onto that. Once I get that swapped over, then I'm going to take both Magnums to my shop and I'm going to start transferring from there because this just takes way too long doing this right here on dirt. and I kind of got fed up with it. So, not to mention the fact that I'm making a real mess in my backyard with metal and glass and wiring and all that crap. So, but anyway, that is another part to this whole entire thing. Once I get the subframe off of the all-wheel drive Magnum taken out, I will put these two side by side once the engine and the transmission are off of the 2015 Charger frame. I'll show you and compare the old one versus the new one. Just kind of show you a little bit of the differences, which really isn't much, guys. It's mostly just the motor mounts, the way that they're set up. On the older style, it has the motor mount that has the two studs on each side, and it goes down, and then there's nuts on the back side of it. On this newer style, it's kind of round, and it's got two bolts that hold it in place instead of nuts. So the only way you can technically reach them is through the top. Okay, but anyway, we're going to keep going on this. I'm going to end up pulling the exhaust off of this engine. It's got BBK shorties along with the twin turbo piping and all that stuff. I'm going to pull all that stuff off because that's going to end up being for my build. This thing also has a 90mm throttle body on it, and I think I'm going to take that off and put it on my intake just to kind of give it a little bit better flow and everything like that. So stay tuned, keep watching the videos. This one's a little bit shorter because there isn't really much to talk about on that. So, but either way, I'll keep making more. If you guys have any questions or you want to make a comment or a like, just go ahead and do so. All right, see you later.